We're building a 2D model of the Earth-Sun system using GeoGebra. We're getting so close, we're going to add the North Pole here in session 20. Be sure to check out the comments where you can see the link to a playlist where you can go through it all step by step. All right, when I asked you to find out the length of the red line, I'm sure that you discovered that it was 3 times the sine of 23.5 degrees, or 3 times the cosine of 66.5 degrees. So it's a nice example of the sine of the complement is equal to the cosine of the angle and vice versa. And remember, we agreed that the radius of our Earth was 3 units, so that's how we developed the above. And we said the North Pole would always be to the right of the center of the Earth and at the same height as we've shown here. So we go straight across, keep the same height, and go to the right by the amount that we just said. So what coordinates should we use in our model for the North Pole? We're going to say the center of the Earth is 7 cosine of orbit, comma 7 sine of orbit. The North Pole is always this much to the right, so the coordinates will be the x coordinate plus the 3 times sine of 23.5, and then leave the y coordinate alone. So let's do it. Before we do that, we're just going to change the center of the Earth to CE as our name in order to save a little real estate. So CE in the settings for the center of the Earth. So I gave us a little more space. Now let's add the North Pole. So we'll move the orbit out a little bit, and we will type. Well, before we do that, we need a fair amount of space here. I'm just going to type using my laptop keyboard NP equals. Then we'll bring up our on-screen. We'll open up parenthesis. We're going to type the x coordinate of the center of the Earth, which we can still see above there, is 7 cosine of orbit. Now put the cursor right in there, and we want to say plus, and now it's going to be 3 times the sine. This is what we came up with before, 23.5, and then the way we get degrees is we type DEG. Then we need our cursor to come right in here so we can get this comma. Here's a comma down here. And now we type just the 7 times the sine of orbit, 7 sine orbit. And then we press enter. This little black dot is our North Pole, but remember we want to change it to white. So remember, in order to make sure that we're in the right, have our settings on the right object, watch these little square boxes on the left. And so there's North Pole. So we click on the 3 dots, click on settings, double check that we're at North Pole, looks good. Change the color to white, and maybe we'll make it a little bit bigger. And let's take it for a spin. So we're going to do 1 year. Of course, here we are starting our year in the December solstice. The North Pole is completely in the dark. We let it turn. There it comes, March. Now we're coming up to, that's June. Down here is September, and then back again to next year's December solstice. So that was a fast year, wasn't it? That completes Add the North Pole. We've actually completed the entire model now, so congratulations. But do check in for a couple more sessions, or maybe one more session, where we're going to do some final formatting. Talk to you then.